Hello! Hi everyone! My name is Alex. I am an artist and knitting enthusiast in San Antonio, Texas. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my studio, and welcome to another episode of Alex Likes to Knit. Okay, let's get started. I am excited. Let's see, I have quite a few things today. I kind of ended last episode thinking, okay, I have this cardigan to work on, so I'm going to wait a while to do another episode because I'm just going to be working on my cardigan. And I did work on my cardigan, but I also decided to cast on 4 other small projects. So I have 5 works in progress to share and no finished objects. I did have those socks that were almost finished last episode, and I did get those wrapped up and sent off. So all new works in progress for all these smaller things that I'm going to show. So I'll just get right into it because I'll show y'all all those 4 smaller projects. They're all gift knits. I get super excited about gift knits. You may know this about me if you've been around. I love knitting socks for people, hats. It makes me happy, and whenever I have kind of random yarn that just kind of makes me think of someone, I just kind of start a project for that person. And I try to do projects for people's birthdays. So I have 2 pairs of birthday socks. So let me think what I casted on first. I think it was this one. Okay, so this is just a little pair of socks for a friend. I'll show you this first. I'm kind of just getting started on this. I knit a pair of socks in this main color recently. I finished them up, and I was talking to a friend recently who was just like really excited about the fact that I was knitting socks. She was just really interested in the process and wanted to like learn how to do it, and like thought the socks were so cool and like got me really pumped about it. So I was like, well, like if I were to knit you some socks, like what kind would you want? Like what color? And so she kind of said shorty socks that are blue would be perfect for her. So whenever I finished up with this yarn, I was like, the amount that I had left from doing that first pair of socks, I was like, that'll be perfect to use as the main color for a pair of shorty socks. And then for this contrast color that I have just on my cuff here, this is from my Ruby and Roses Advent, and I just thought a light blue would be kind of nice and kind of coordinate with this. So super simple. I've talked about this before, but I'll go ahead and say again for anyone who's new. I like to do like shorty ankle socks with a little bit of fold over elastic in the cuff. So I have this, just kidding, I don't see it. But fold over elastic is a very soft sewing elastic that's really stretchy. So I cut about 8 1/4 inches of that and make it into a loop and sew it together with just like a needle and sewing thread. And then I cast on for my cuff 56 stitches, which is kind of a medium for me because I have a looser gauge whenever I knit socks. So I just kind of knit a size small for most people. So that's more of a medium. So I cast on 56 stitches, knit 10 to 12 rows. I knit 12 rows in stockinette for this sock. And then that fold over elastic like easily folds in half. So I fold it in half and kind of tuck it in and pick up my cast on edge and knit it together with this. So you get a fold over cuff, but inside it, there's elastic. So it stays put really well. It stays on my foot really well. And it's not like too stiff to where it irritates my ankle or anything. It's really comfortable for me. I think if you're able to measure the right amount of elastic to where it doesn't like constrict you too much but keeps it up on your foot, I think it could work for a lot of people. It would just be getting that measurement just right. I find that doing 8 1/4 inches works well for my sock and my foot. And my friend has like probably wears the same size shoe as me, if not like really close. So I just did the same size that I do for myself for her. So I did those 12 rows. of stockinette, folded it over, and then I did like 3 more rows in that light blue, just so you could see that color a little bit more because I thought it was kind of pretty. And then started slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. So I do slip stitch, heel flap with 18 slip stitch repeats. Do my gusset here where I decrease every row and on each side until I get back to the same, until I get back to 56 stitches again. So I marked here, I marked with that little gold marker where I got back to 56 stitches, and then I'll do about 50 to 55 rounds before I start my toe. So yeah, that's all that I have on this one so far. But I'm going to be traveling in just a few days, and I think this one is going to come with me because it's a small amount of yarn and super easy project, so that'll be nice. This one will probably be traveling with me, so hopefully we'll be done next episode. Put that down here. Okay, so then I started another gift knit, which I have a bit more progress on. Oh yeah, did I say? I didn't say. This yarn is like a Yarn Bee colorway. It's not like hand dyed, or they say it's hand dyed, but it's a Hobby Lobby colorway. But yeah, this is like a cheaper sock yarn, but then I have my Ruby and Roses Advent colorway as the contrast color for that one. So I really like how that one's working together. It reminded me because this is a really beautiful hand dyed yarn that I have the tag for. Okay, I thought I had the tag for it in my book, but I don't. But I know what this is. So this is a half-finished object. It looks super skinny because this is a fully ribbed sock. So I just did 2x2 rib for the whole leg and then continued it on the top of the foot. So this is another gift knit for a friend of mine who has a birthday coming up in March. And so yeah, this color kind of reminded me of them. And the last socks that I made for them were really wild, so I wanted to do kind of a single color, but still kind of fun and interesting. And this yarn, it's from Destination Yarn, and they did like a planets collection, and my partner Caroline got me a few skeins. They're like named after different planets, and this one is Mars. So these are the Mars ribbed socks, and they're just this really fun, fiery, variegated colorway that goes from like a dark red to like orange to like a lighter peachy type of color. And I think these are so fun, and I'm glad I did the rib. I think they're gonna fit really well and yeah, just be cute and comfortable and different. So I finished this sock this morning, and then I just barely started on the cuff of the second sock. And I'm thinking that these two, this one as well as that light blue one that I just showed, are going to come with me on my trip. Because this is a full skein, I'm making a pair of socks and then I'll have some left over. So if I do finish both pairs of socks on my trip, then I might start like a pair of shorty socks with this, or start like a yarn cozy or something with this color while we're there. So just kind of thinking ahead, because I have some traveling that I'm doing. I'll share a little bit about that at the end probably. But yeah, so for sizing for this one, what I did, this is for another person who has probably about the same size foot as me. But this is 2x2 rib. I cast it on 56 stitches and knit 70 rounds in 2x2 rib to get a little bit of a taller sock. 18 repeats for my slip stitch, heel flap, gusset, and then I continued that rib pattern down and did 50 rounds for the foot. One thing that I did on this that I'm kind of proud of, let me see if you can see it. Okay, yeah, I think this was not focusing earlier, but if you look at that side and then you look at that side, they're really even because I, on my front stitches, instead of doing knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, I did knit 1, purl 2, so it started on a knit 1 and it ended on a knit 1. So my little side things are like the same, which makes me happy. And I'm doing that on this one too. And I'm going to continue to do that if I do 2x2 ribbed socks. Because yeah, it just feels really even and nice. Just a little small thing. But yeah, 2x2 ribbed socks for gift knit. Beautiful Mars colorway from Destination Yarns. Love it. I was kind of, the last socks that I was working on last episode, the Mardi Gras socks and those blue and white socks, I was just really itching to like cast on like a nicer yarn. I have so much really beautiful yarn in my stash, so I was like, I really want to do like one of my really pretty ones. And it was perfect because I saw this one and I thought of my friend who has a birthday coming up, and I was like, this is perfect. This is going to be the perfect thing for me to do. So yeah, little ribbed Mars socks. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, let's do one more sock and then I have a hat. Okay, so this has to do with a acquisition that I got that I want to show y'all. The sock project. This is Summerlee's new sock book that I'm so excited about. Yeah, this is a kind of how to knit socks and then how to knit a ton of different kinds of socks, 25 sock knitting patterns, and just a bunch of tips and a bunch of patterns and a bunch of really beautiful photographs. And yeah, my birthday's coming up next week, and I had been kind of hinting, really just straight up telling my partner that I really wanted this book for my birthday because it just came out on February 13th. And I was like, oh, I really want to pre-order it and then I can have it for my birthday. Like, what if it's hard to find right after it comes out? And my partner did surprise me with this, like for a birthday present, but like on Valentine's Day. So I got it right after it came out and I love it. I've looked through everything and started, this is one of the patterns from the book. I did start a different one in that Mars yarn, but I didn't feel like it was suited to the yarn. But there are lots more patterns in here that I want to try out with different textures and colorwork motifs and stuff. So I'm definitely going to be doing more from this book. If you're interested in seeing like some different patterns and stuff that are in it, just be on the lookout for that from me because I'll definitely be working from this book more after this pair. But what I thought would be fun is to cast on a pair of DK weight socks because there's DK weight socks in the book and I've only made one pair of DK weight socks before. I wasn't in love with how they came out. I made some for my mother-in-law and I did like a shorty pair. She specifically wanted like a kind of loose, like short, like house sock. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do DK weight. And they were okay. I couldn't really see myself wearing them, so I didn't really get into making them. But I'm thinking that this pair will be good for another friend of mine who has a birthday in March. Because they were just, I think that they'll really like a pair of really warm house socks. So I'm going to make them pretty tall. And then just them being DK weight will be really cozy, toasty, warm. So let me show you, I'll show you the yarn first, or I'll show you this and then I'll show you the yarn. So I'm doing a marl with a tonal and a self-striping. So I'm using two kind of commercial yarns. This purple color is another yarn bee color that I got in the same D-stash. I got kind of a bundle with some random colors and stuff that I thought would be good for gifts. So this is a yarn bee colorway, and this one is a Filicini self-striping from Knit Picks. So yeah, I just thought these would be fun together to make a purple variegated striped thing, and I just got this one started the other day. I probably won't take this one on my trip just because this is going to be a lot quicker of a project, and I kind of like to bring just tiny knitting, and like this is like a lot of yarn too. So I probably won't bring this one on my trip, but I'll work on it a little bit more before we leave, and then I'll be ready to work on this one more whenever we come back. Yeah, and have it ready for my friend's birthday. So a little DK weight sock. Let me show you in the book the pattern that I'm looking at. She has a few DK weight socks in the book. So I'm looking right now at the classic DK sock recipe. That's the picture for it. So it has that rolled cuff at the top that I have here, to where it's just all stockinette and then it folds down. Like it rolls down at the top, which I think, I don't know, I've never really done that for a sock. And I think with these being really tall, I think it looks cute in the photo. So I'll try it out. And then I will either do this pattern that has the rolled cuff in the picture. This pattern that has the rolled cuff in the picture has a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, which I'm very familiar with, so I might do that. Or the next one, she has a pattern here for shorty DK socks that has a short row heel. So I'm kind of thinking I might do that just for fun, like just to do something different, like, and to look more into like the book and how it explains things and everything. I'm thinking I'll probably do that short row heel. And just kind of see what happens with the stripes and stuff, because I'm not really worried about my stripe pattern getting off, you know. Yeah, so I'll keep y'all updated on that next time on what I end up doing for that heel. But yeah, just another small project. And then one more small project. Then we'll get to the really exciting stuff. Okay. It's a hat. It looks tiny, but this actually does fit over my head. I was worried about it because it looks so small, and I put it on try-it-on tubing and put it over my head. And it has plenty of room to stretch. But I just cast this on a whim because I got this super fun yarn for Valentine's Day from my parents. They're so sweet, and they like to send me a gift for Valentine's Day, whether it's like flowers or chocolate, just like cute little stuff, because they're so sweet. And I don't get to see them that much because we live out of town. But yeah, they sent me yarn. They sent me a little Knit Picks order with this one and then two other similar ones. This is Chroma Twist worsted from Knit Picks. So it's a worsted weight. It is wool and acrylic, I'm pretty sure. I can confirm and put it on the screen. But yeah, it's like a barber pole. And then it does have kind of a weird, like this one in particular, like this is where I am right now, right? So it's fading, like both of the pole both the plies are like fading, but then one of them I guess needed to be like cut or something. So it's gonna have a weird like edge right there. But that's fine. And then that's where I am again. But yeah, it's doing this really nice fade thing, starting from more pink and then it's more dark purple at the top here. So it's going to have like a weird like cut line, but I don't really care. I'm going to give this to my friend because this color just really reminds me of her. And I really like making these 2x2 rib hats, but I already have a lot of hats. That's really all it is. I just want to make them. I don't necessarily want to keep them. So this one is going to go to my friend. I'm pretty much doing the Essential Beanie by Andrea Gaughan, which is a pattern that I purchased. And now I just kind of referred back to it for stitch counts and stuff because I know how to do the decreases from that pattern. And it has a bunch of different sizes, a bunch of different weights of yarn and everything. And it's kind of like how to do a 2x2 rib hat in a bunch of different sizes with like any weight of yarn you want. So I refer to that for like how many stitches to cast on, and then I kind of know how to do it once I get it started. But that is a really good pattern. I have talked about how great it is before. I've made many 2x2 ribbed hats with that pattern, and I do think it's worth it to go ahead and purchase it if you can, because there's so many different stitch counts and things that you can use from that. It's really easy to modify, and yeah, instead of like being like, okay, I have this yarn, I want to do a 2x2 ribbed hat and trying to figure out your own like math and everything, it's just like gives you a good starting point. So, essential beanie for a friend. So that's kind of ridiculous that I have 4 gift knits, but that's just who I am, honestly. That's what I like to do, and that's where we're at. So yeah, it's fine. But let's get into like what we've all been waiting for, right? Okay. So I'm knitting a cardigan. I showed this last time. Let me show you the progress that I have made on it, and we'll do a little try on. Yay! It's looking so good. So this stitch marker here, this is where I was last episode. I had just joined for the body and done just a couple rounds. So I have done several inches since then, and it's going really well. I have not tried this on again since then, so I'm thinking that I will put this on some try-it-on tubing and try it on for you. Okay, I have my little tube thing that I'm able to transfer my stitches onto so that I can try this on. Yeah, so this is the Coven Cardi by Shay Johnson, and it is a super simple top-down raglan cardigan. I think it might be written for DK weight. With my gauge, I got it with worsted weight. Maybe that's what it was, or maybe it is written for worsted weight. I'm not sure, but I think it has either a 19 or 20 stitches per inch gauge, which is what I was looking for when I was looking for a pattern. So I chose this one because it just seemed really simple. It is size inclusive, and that's kind of what I needed, was the right gauge. Something simple and something size inclusive, and there actually were not a ton of options on Ravelry, which is kind of funny. But yeah, the yarn is Barocco Vintage worsted. So it's a wool, nylon, and acrylic blend. And I think it's going to be really good for me because I know that this is going to be something that I wear a lot and that I'm going to need to wash fairly frequently. My sweaters that I have and that I use, I bring them everywhere and I wear them everywhere, and then I get warm and don't realize it, and then they get smelly. So I definitely want something that I'm going to be able to wash, not something that I'm going to need to like hand wash and air dry and everything. So I do think because it's wool, acrylic, and nylon that I will be able to wash this in the washing machine and dry it on low at least most of the way. And then pull it out and let it dry flat the rest of the way. That's kind of my care plan for this piece. And I made a sweater for my dog in this yarn. I'll have to put a picture because y'all know he's so cute. And I kind of used that as my gauge swatch and to make sure that I liked the fabric. So I'm using the same, size, which is a size 5, and the same yarn as I did for that. Looks good. Okay, I hope that doesn't pop off. This is not as long as I think it could be for this to really work well. But let's see. Just put it on over my t-shirt and vest that I have on. Okay, great. Okay, yeah, this is what I have so far for my cardigan. So let me check kind of where it's sitting. So it's gonna have an not applied, but like I'm gonna pick up stitches and do ribbing this way for this whole part, so it won't roll in this much. And then it will have buttons, which I don't really use the buttons on my cardigans too much, but I do occasionally, and I like the look of the buttons just hanging, so I'm definitely gonna add buttons to this. I do not have buttons picked out. But yeah, just looking at like the armhole depth, I think is good. It's not like really exaggerated, but it's definitely like a bit looser than like the armholes on my vest that I'm wearing. And I think the ease is good too. I don't have the full, I have a little bit more ease than this because I don't have the full amount of stretch on my barber cord here, but this does, it closes easily with room, which is perfect. And I'll have a bit more width whenever I add that ribbing. So yeah, I think it's perfect. I definitely have quite a ways to go. Let me stand up. Yeah, so to get to like the edge of my very high-waisted shorts, I still need like 3 inches, but I'm definitely going to want it to be longer than that. So probably do like 6 more inches and then do the ribbing at the bottom. So that I have like a nice, not like over my butt, but like a fairly normal long length. And then with the sleeves, I'll just kind of keep an eye on it to get a good length on the sleeves too. But yeah, it looks good, right? I really, really like it, and I like the color on me, and I'm enjoying working with the yarn and just the process and everything. It's going really well. That's really it. So those are the 5 projects. Kind of crazy. Oh, my plan for this, because the body is kind of, it's tough because you knit all the way across, you purl all the way back, and it's just like a little bit irritating for my hands and stuff if I try to do it for a long time. My plan though is to finish this ball of yarns. This is the second ball of yarn that I'm adding. I have 5, but I can also get more because this is from my local yarn store and it's like a commercial yarn, so I should be able to get a good color match. Whenever I finish this ball of yarn on the body, I think I'm going to start working on one of the sleeves just to give myself like something else to do and kind of break it up. And then I'll kind of see where I'm at with like the length that I want to add and everything after that, maybe after I get a full sleeve done. Something like that. We'll see. But yeah, I will move my marker here. Got my marker moved to my last row there. And then this is ready to just keep working on. Yeah, so 5 works in progress. It's quite a bit, but I am enjoying all of them really. I think like the hat and the DK socks might take a bit longer because I'm going to take a break from them for a little while we're traveling. But I just like working on different stuff and kind of playing with different yarn at different times. It definitely isn't enough to feel like overwhelming to me or anything. So it's not stressful or anything. It's just whenever I didn't realize that I had that many things going until I pulled them together for the podcast, and I was like, oh wow, you really did start 4 new things in the past like week, which is kind of silly, but also it's fun. And it's all yarn that I had in my stash, so might as well work with it, and I get a lot of joy from making gifts for people. So if I get inspired to start a gift for someone, I'm just gonna do it. And if I decide that I don't want to anymore, I'm just going to rip it out and I just won't. It's not going to bother me on something like that. If I'm doing a larger project like a t-shirt or a sweater or something, I do want to really plan and make sure that it's intentional and that I am like really going to get the finished product that I really want. But with socks and hats, it's like this yarn, I just want it to be socks and hats, and I just like to knit. So I'm just going to knit it into socks and hats, and it's just not that serious. So it's just been fun and super chill, really. Yeah, I think on a more kind of like personal and like work related stuff, for my art and also my channel. This month for February, I've been more focused on painting and just really like doing the work, and not as focused on making content, which has been good for me. I think I've gotten a lot more painting done and just been able to experiment more, and made some new things that are going to be really nice for prints and stuff like that. So I'm proud of myself for like giving myself the month to do that, but also not completely stopping my YouTube channel, because I do feel like it's kind of finally starting to pick up a little bit, and I'm having more people who I don't know watch it, which is so cool. And it's exciting and inspiring to me, like being able to put my work out there and that people will respond to it and see it. So I just slowed down my posting schedule a little bit, and was able to make a lot more art this month, which has been great. And I do have a video coming out in probably about 2 weeks. I'll show all of the art that I made in February. If you're just a knitter or you're just finding me here and you just watch my knitting podcast and you're interested in my art and my painting, I did post a video recently that was all the art that I made in January. If you want to check it out, it's not super long or anything, and I just show you my sketchbooks, my paintings, and kind of my thought process with that, which I think for anyone who's like a creative person, it's cool to see what other people are making. If you want to check that out, I'll link it below. Yeah, I have a trip coming up that I'm very excited about on Saturday. So today's Thursday. So in 2 days, I am traveling to Arizona with my wife, Caroline, and we will be visiting Tucson, Phoenix, and Sedona, Arizona. It's my birthday next weekend, so we're gonna be celebrating my birthday, just kind of doing dates and checking stuff out. We're doing a little like wine tour in Sedona. Not really a wine tour, but like we're going to a vineyard and doing a vineyard tour, and like a wine tasting there. And then we're doing several hikes. I think 4 different days. We're gonna do some pretty long hikes and doing some camping. So we're flying out there, and we're flying some of our camping stuff so we can camp in Tucson and see Saguaro National Park. So it's just going to be a lot of different things, a lot of like fancy, indulgent food, and then some outdoor time. And I'm going to be bringing my my sketchbooks, some of my art making stuff, as well as my camera. I'm going to try to film a little bit just to maybe have a little bit of a mini vlog as part of one of my videos, or I'll potentially, depending on how much I film, I don't want it to be like a focus of the trip to like film it. I really just want to enjoy my time with my partner, but I want to film a little bit so that I can kind of remember it, and I think that'll be fun for us too. So if I have enough footage, I might make a little bit of a video about making art while traveling. That's something that I did recently whenever I traveled to Utah. I did a lot of sketchbooking and just taking pictures and everything while I was there. So I shared that in all the art that I made in January. But that might be cool as a separate video, even if it's short. So I'm thinking about doing that. So be on the lookout for that. But I'll be bringing my knitting too, and knitting definitely on the plane and in the car. We'll be renting a car and driving around Arizona. So yeah, just a lot to look forward to. I am super excited, plus it's my birthday, and I get really excited about other people's birthdays, and that is true for my own birthday too. I get really, really excited about it. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's really all that I have for you. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that everyone has been keeping up with me, commenting and everything. It really means a lot to me. So if you've been watching, just say hi. Just leave a comment if you're feeling, generous, you're feeling fun. If you have a second, say hi to me in the comments. It would really mean a lot to me, and I would love to chat with you. I'll see y'all probably next week. Bye.